Hey, students. Just want to drop in and quickly remind you about our amazing event that we had last week on how to study and revise. It's Mr. Mohid here, founder of Aim High Tuition. And firstly, thank you so much for joining last week. I was really pumped up after the lesson, after the session that we had. Just listening to how you guys have made that commitment to start your studying, to have um, a timetable. That was the key thing that we discussed. And I just want to summarize what we did. And I just want to quickly check in to see, have you guys made those promises? Have you kept those promises that you made last Tuesday evening at the how to revise session that I did with you guys? So firstly, have you made your timetable? Have you made the revision schedule? And secondly, are you following it? Those of you that have, obviously, that's fantastic. Now, I know since last week or since the last time you watched the video or you took part in the webinar, motivation might have dropped. Like I mentioned, there's two things that I mentioned, and I want you to remember those two things. One begins with M, one begins with D, and you need both of them. The first one is the one you got on Tuesday. Do you know what it is? Begins with M. It's motivation. That's when you feel excited, then you feel like you want to do something, when you feel like, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it straight away. At the end of the session, that's how most of you, if not all of you, felt. You felt like, yes, sir, I'm going to go on, make a revision schedule. I'm going to set aside that 1 hour every day. And I'm going to set aside my morning. So I'm going to wake up early in the morning and study. But then, are you doing that? Because the next thing I mentioned was the word starting beginning with D. Do you remember what it was? And this is the key ingredient, guys. If you want to be successful in life, in your studies, in anything, this is the key thing. And it begins with D. Do you remember it? It was discipline. Now, this is the thing that we need, guys. Just as a reminder, the motivation bit's over. Now, are you disciplined enough to be continuing with those promises that you've kept? Have you made the timetable and are you following it? If you're not, then obviously you're lacking in discipline. So go back, review that timetable that you've made, and reassess and plan again. If it was 1 hour of revision every day that you said you're going to do, knock it down, make it half an hour or 20 minutes. But be consistent. Yeah, I was looking through all your messages, and I've just managed to get through them all, and it was really good when I was really happy to see some of the content and some of the messages and questions that you guys were asking. One that really got to me was the one that Clinton mentioned. Clinton on the call. If you're watching this, well done. That was a good one. You mentioned the famous basketball player LeBron James, and you said what he does or what he believes in, consistency and discipline gets you where you want to be. And waking up early and to practice until you become really good is what LeBron James did. And he's one of the best basketball players in that people know. So remember, guys, the discipline is when you don't feel like doing something. You find that every all your mates are playing outside or they're playing on the games or whatever it is, and you don't feel like pursuing that goal that you've got, or you don't feel like putting the reps in, or you don't feel like doing the extra bit of homework or that revision or that practice, but you still do it regardless. Yeah, that's what discipline is. And that's the thing that's going to really drive it home for you. So I just want to reiterate this and listen very carefully. The motivation bit we've done, or re-motivate yourself, watch this, but the discipline is going to get you there. So what I want you to do for after watching this video, go back, review your timetable. Are you following those steps that you promised? If not, make another promise to yourself that I'm going to start from today. I couldn't do 1 hour. That was an overestimate of my time. I'm going to do 20 minutes, and I'm going to consistently do that every day or every other day and do that. And remember, set the targets how we planned on the call. Be specific, have it measurable, make sure you can actually achieve it, make sure it's realistic. So nothing's daft like 5 hours a day. That's not going to work. And give yourself a deadline. Make sure you have a deadline so that you know you've got a time constraint to work towards. So make sure they are smart targets. Guys, I'm going to leave you here, but I really want to make sure that you guys are following up. So remember, make sure you're motivated, but make sure ultimately you are disciplined to get the things done, even though you don't want to. I'll see you next time.